one with the overview.
Everyone has to see what it takes.
Daffy.
It's the big fish, Bugs.
Welcome back to Cocktail Cinema, folks, your weekly movie review podcast where we pair craft cocktails with craft films.
Most of the time.
I am your first favorite bartender, third favorite author, coming at you hot and spiky, Josh Price. And I am joined by my two beautiful friends.
What an
Greg
intro you
and
gave
Shasta.
yourself there. I guess I'll just say,
I'm
a big fish, Bob.
Yeah, it's just a big fish. And speaking of big fish, this week we are reviewing the beach. I almost said the room. Whew, the beach. And this was chosen by our good boy Greg here because it is cold here in Chicagoland in February, and we needed something nice and warm to bring our spirits back up.
Oh, yeah.
And so here we are reviewing 2000's The Beach. This movie was directed by Danny Boyle. It had a budget of $50 million and a pretty good box office return of $144.1 million.
Pretty decent. Pretty
Yeah.
decent, for sure. Especially you would think it'd be a little bit more going into the Philippines to record a movie. But I guess
I don't
Philippines
know.
are pretty cheap.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that certain countries do, like, they provide, like,
I'm sorry, not
tax
Philippines,
breaks and
it's Thailand.
stuff.
Thailand,
Yeah.
Thailand, my
It's
bad.
not like Waterworld in
Right.
Right, yeah.
Oahu or whatever.
Yeah,
Put
so
in jet
there's some
skis.
places you can film where it just makes sense to film there because it's easier on the budget. However, Leonardo Dicaprio is still in this movie.
Yeah.
And we
Gotta
are
pay the man.
Yeah, we are several years out from all of his big breaks. Like this is definitely after Titanic. I'm pretty sure this is after Quick and the Dead.
Yeah.
You know, so he's an established name at this point.
Which is funny because this movie gets crapped on.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm
You
gonna
wanna
say
start
it
the
right up
crapping?
top.
Pretty good reason
It
why.
deserves
Yeah.
to get crapped on.
Deserves the crapping.
It does. It does. And I will say that Leonardo DiCaprio is the shining point of this film. Like it's shot in a beautiful location, so you can't ignore that. And Leo gives a fantastic performance. But overall, this film just doesn't quite work for me.
I gotcha. But to add,
Mhm.
we talked about beautiful location and stuff. There was some beauty into the camera work of this movie.
Totally.
Even on
Totally.
big island level and on close up, half close up and, distancing. Leo gave it, but there was a lot of high points from the camera angles and way of use.
Yeah, absolutely. I can give you that. But I mean, what this boils down to for me is just a
Boils down to you? Is that Danny Boyle, the director?
What this Danny boils down for me is it's kind of a discombobulated Lord of the Flies. So
You
you've
mentioned
got a group of individuals, in this case they're adults instead of kids, that are developing their own society, which includes a governmental system of sorts.
Yeah.
And then everything the story that surrounds that is just kind of, it meanders. Now, I know this is based on a book. The book came out in 1996, and they had the room to develop these characters and the story a bit more. I mean, movies are limiting in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But we have seen adaptations in the past that have done well. We've reviewed some adaptations that did really well.
Of course.
In a similar time frame. We're talking
Right.
about 2 hours. So, I don't know. I enjoyed the bones of this movie,
Mm-hmm.
but the meat wasn't there for me. However, I want to throw it over to you because, like I said, you brought this movie to the table.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm going through puberty again.
Or you just saw Paradise.
And right,
It's lost.
you brought
Don't
this
worry,
to the
ladies and
table,
gentlemen. Gone.
and I want to give you a chance to argue for this movie
no need
because
to argue. I'm gonna tell you like it is.
Pitch this movie to me.
I'm not disagreeing with you when I watched it again. Critically, it's loose, but I've watched this movie probably a million times over the course of my young 2000s. Man, I'm getting old. Whatever.
Eighth
the
grade
movie's
is
good.
when it came
The
out.
movie's
You were-
good.
You were in eighth grade.
The movie's good. I never had a problem watching the movie. I'd watched it a million times over. It grabs me in certain ways, like the camera work and the music. It sends you off into that That,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
it puts you
definitely
there.
very Globe Trekker.
And it does have those certain switches, you know, but I think that it highlighting, you talked about the characters and how they're kind of melding together.
Yeah, so off mic we had a conversation about, you know, we do our pre-shows and all the characters in this kind of blend together with the exception of, you know, maybe 4 people. There's 4 really distinct characters, 5 if you count Bugs. And everybody else is just kind of thin. They're 2-dimensional characters, which I get, but at the same time, I'm spending 2 hours on this island with these people. I would appreciate getting to know them. Because like I said, Lord of the Flies, what this story is apparently somewhat pulling from, does dive into those individual characters, and they have individual roles, whereas everyone on the island does everything. Like, they rotate tasks, they rotate, you know, days off.
Right.
So no one has really a distinct, oh, this is the fisherman, this is the doctor, this is... Everyone plays soccer, everyone goes fishing, everyone does everything, and no one's distinct. And that was part of what muddied it for me.
Okay. I think that's what the part that made it clear for me, because they don't want you to fall inside those characters. They want you to be inside Leo's brain, Richard's brain. So they're all after one thing, paradise, and they all will do anything to have that, which means divert from their own character development and way of life personally. So they take everything away from their personal traits and their character levels just to fit into this perfect utopia, I should say. And that's where I think that's why I think it plays for me more than it does for you, because they were building it based on his interaction, and they all seem to kind of think the same. And
yeah, there's a lot of groupthink.
Leo's big thing, big change was when he said, you know, sometimes people have to, you know, get hurt for us to survive, or for us to have this paradise.
yeah.
You
And
know?
then he
So
just goes on a killing spree.
eat some you know,
Eat some
caterpillars and some
caterpillars.
mushrooms, and, you know, bam bam.
So I would like to kind of zero in on that particular sequence where, so Leo's character has been kind of kicked out of the camp until he can make sure that no one else is coming to paradise, because the whole point is, like, the we'll call them farmers on the other side of the island, they've agreed to leave our little paradise community alone as long as no one else comes
And they stay on their
to
side.
their side. Yeah.
Yep.
Because they don't want to be found out. They're growing things that maybe they shouldn't be at the time. And Leo not only shows up with 2 other people, but he makes copies of the map and hands them out in this town where he was in Thailand, or the city in Thailand where he's...
Can we just say, like, it's the island, the beach is off like the northern coast of Thailand, and that's clearly stated on the map.
Yeah.
When they're standing on the northern shores of Thailand,
Yeah, you can see it
It's-
from
yeah.
there, right?
it's 1.3 kilometers away.
Yeah, they're
How
able
many miles
to
is
swim.
that?
I'm American.
Like, it is for
It's a
as
mile
mysterious
away.
as this
Yeah,
map
you
is
can
supposed
see
to
it.
be. It is
right
there.
But I guess
sorry.
the biggest thing for
that-
that is it's enclosed, so like nobody can see.
Yeah.
It seemed
I
like
think
it's just
it's
a
like
big
they
rock.
had to swim. Like the,
Right.
the idiot,
Yeah,
the
you
idiot
should've seen
stoners
it.
who end up like finding Leo's map and come back
Yeah.
to visit when
Yeah.
everything goes crazy and the 4 visitors die. That's like they're the smartest people in the world. They brought actual kayaks.
Right?
Yeah,
Like you don't have to
surfboards,
dive gangrene on this island. You could paddle your
And
ass back with one
they
leg.
brought their
Yeah.
own honeys. He didn't have to steal
Yeah.
it from.
Yeah.
steal it from somebody else.
Dude, yeah. Steals a honey.
Yeah, steals
he
a honey,
Suffocates
cheats on
a
another
guy.
one.
Yeah, Leo...
Kills a baby shark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do.
Right. Takes some mushrooms, trips out, gets in
Yeah.
a video game,
Gets a bunch of people.
messes with some kind of
Yeah. So coming back to that, the scene where the sequence where he's by himself, because it's probably a solid
half an hour,
15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So he's by himself, and he just goes like full apocalypse now.
Yeah, totally. And it's shot like that too, for sure. You know, even the slower,
Even the video
slower
game
lens,
scenes
yeah.
where they've got like the Mario sounds.
and a little bit of trails.
It's
yeah.
still in his brain the way Apocalypse Now is, and it is such a jarring change from everything that comes before it, because everything before it is, even the problems they face are handled in a lackadaisical manner. but then suddenly he's ostracized, and he doesn't maintain the that island attitude. He doesn't. He's not like, oh yeah, I'll get it figured out.
Not a
He starts to
regular island
panic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an island
Like an
boy.
island boy.
He's an island boy in paradise.
No less.
That's why this movie is 2 hours instead of it being an hour and 40 minutes. We're
Right.
saying because there's like a mini DMT trip.
For sure.
right in
You're
the
not
center
wrong.
of it.
And I mean, they bookended it with Daffy. Obviously, that they needed. They needed a beginning and they needed an ending. They found it with Daffy.
Now, I have some things to say about Daffy, but before we get to Daffy, the last time you see Daffy is during his little trip out after he ate the caterpillar.
Yeah.
Now, this drink
said
is
no to
not
mushrooms.
going to trip you out.
Okay.
However, it is a paradise punch.
Wow.
All right, so as you can see here, folks, it's nice and bright teal. So you've got an
the babe.
ounce of vanilla rum. You can substitute white rum, but I recommend vanilla rum. We've got a 1/4 ounce of apple puckers, 1/2 ounce of Blue Curacao, 1/4 ounce of lime
Greg
juice,
snuck a sip. I caught him.
1/2 ounce of
Coat the tongue.
Lychee Sake, and 2 ounces of pineapple juice. Now, I understand this has more ingredients than normal, but it's worth it. So you put all that together in a shaker with some ice, shake that bad boy up, and pour it. It's gonna the pineapple juice is gonna foam a little bit, and it's gonna look like a beach.
All right, well, cheers.
And those bright blues.
Cheers.
Refreshing.
Cotton candy.
It is funny though that you said like there's more ingredients than usual. We're on a damn island, Josh. Like these guys are begging for batteries.
Hey, you know
and
what?
Soap
We just when
and paprika.
when Sal went back to the mainland, we had her bring back all this stuff. So what she also brought back with her was the conversation.
What'd you bring back with you from your date with Sal?
Ooh.
Not gangrene.
Gonna siffer.
I brought back a realization that there's a lot of classic influence, like classic literary influence in this story. So we've already talked about Lord of the Flies, but the character of Daffy is very much Hamlet's father. So Hamlet's dad, just for a quick, junior year refresher,
Thank you.
he's
Yes.
he's kind of he's making some changes in the kingdom, and he's killed off by his brother, but he keeps showing up to Hamlet as a ghost, and Hamlet is very much influenced by both the ghost of his father and the memory of his father. And Leo DiCaprio meets Daffy during one of his he's losing his mind, so he
Right,
really is
right.
two people, and one of his identities offs him, and he keeps showing up both in Leonardo DiCaprio's conversations, like they keep referencing Daffy, but he also shows up during that trip, and like I can appreciate the nod, but I'm not sure it was necessary.
It went a little overboard. It went a little overboard. I mean, the whole movie's a little bit convoluted. I mean, you go from these situations, I think it's meant to be, but the situations that are so put you in this paradise and then take it away. And they do it many times. But we talked about Apocalypse Now, and I think that was a perfect reference, because that guerrilla style shooting when he's out there by himself and he's still messing around, he's throwing rocks and messing with these guys in their field, and it all kind of weighs in on certain things. And Daffy, like I said, bookends it, but Leo feels himself turning into Daffy, and he recognizes that, and just seems to be the play. The overall direction of this whole film was, I don't think it was as bad as it was shown. The direction, like you said, the bones are there.
I agree.
I don't feel like it was the most terrible thing ever, just because I've watched it as a viewer.
Yeah.
It moves for me, but there's a lot of questions that are unanswered. Like
Well,
tons
and
of
like
them, tons of them.
I will give this movie some credit, because like Leo almost he was in the running for a Razzie that year.
I know.
Thankfully, Battlefield Earth came out in 2000, so I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure John
Travolta?
Travolta got it. But I think Leo did a good job.
Right.
He always gives a good performance, even when it doesn't necessarily fit him. Like this is more of a Matt Damon character for me. And the sky's falling.
The sun is shining. It goes from
sunset.
It goes
really
from
quickly.
sunny to cloudy real quick when you're out there.
A lot of work making you guys look beautiful.
No, he does a good job here, and it doesn't necessarily fit him at that time in his life.
Mm-hmm.
I think now he'd do even better.
Right.
But he does a great job with something that doesn't work for him.
Yeah. We can't put him there now because he's not a 20-year-old.
He's still beautiful. Like he's aged barely.
I guess.
But yeah, I mean, and then Tilda Swinton could still play that role. She looks exactly the same.
She does. But she looked old when she was young.
True.
She just falls into that.
Like she's just that character. Like she looks the same in this as she does in Constantine as she does in Snowpiercer.
And it's always creepy.
Yes. Yeah.
She's always looked 100. I think it's what Josh is trying to
That's
say.
what I'm saying.
she's always looked that way. But yeah. I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about, Robert Carlyle, the guy who played Daffy. Like he just always looks the same.
Daffy was fun. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, he wasn't supposed to be, but it was like
he gives that character some flair.
Yeah.
And that actor is kind of known for that. So
You could tell he's going to kill himself. Leo's also
Yeah.
a dick
Right
for
away.
that, too. Like,
Yeah.
before he steals a girl or murks the Swedish dude.
your head's kind of fucked, huh? Whatever he says.
yeah,
That's hilarious.
he's rough on everybody around him. And I think his arc I can't appreciate because he's a terrible person through and through, and he's not a good person at the end of the movie.
No.
Even in the epilogue.
Yep.
He's not a good person. He's just learning to let go. Like he's seen enough that it's like it's like he's getting out of this life kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that he kind of recognized that. He's like, well, paradise or not, I'm gonna be the same person. I mean, it's all a dream. It's all projection. You know what I mean? You put yourself somewhere and hope it turns out, and then it didn't, and it's not going to.
Well, and I think
I think that's the overall theme. The whole
Yeah.
story of it is like it ain't always greener.
Well, this is the other side of the coin for what was that movie? Into the Wild.
Yeah.
Where the kid he leaves his life of luxury and he just goes to tour Alaska in his van. And this is kind of like even the setting is the opposite of that. And I feel Leo's character here is the more common version of rich white kids in America going somewhere exotic to find themselves. Right. And really all you find is you are not suited for this life.
The same way they're partying on the beach for the moon
Yeah.
party. You know what I mean? It's like you wanted it then. You found out about something different. Your motives changed.
Yeah.
You're always looking for the next best thing. I mean, that's just life,
Yeah.
Especially as a 20-year-old or whatever, how old he was as a kid. I mean, it's a full circle. I mean, we're easily influenced on any level at that age.
Absolutely. And I don't know. I think the only person that gets any real sympathy from me in this film is Etienne, who is, like we were talking about Leo, stealing a girl. He's Mr. Steal Your Girl here. That's the original boyfriend, and he stays friends with Leo. He takes care of
everything. Like,
Right.
He takes care of the guy who gets bitten by the shark.
Yeah, he's the only one who didn't lose
Yeah,
his.
he doesn't lose his
core,
humanity.
Yeah, like he's
And
you guys are
everyone
bastards.
else abandons that
Out of
their
sight, out of
human
mind.
nature.
And
Yeah,
that's what they were. That's the whole theme.
Yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind. Put what you want. Put your human nature. Put your thought process. Put what you thought was right. Put aside for utopia, which they find out time and time again that it's not. They have these guys with AK-47s that are banging people against a wall, telling them, "I'm going to shoot you in the head.
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on." Guys are losing their life on shark attacks. I mean, there's cheating. There's infidelity. There's backstabbing here. No matter where you go. Utopia, city life, family, things can go bad.
Well, and
Stay
I
inside
think
yourself.
it's important to recognize that anytime a civilization or a society has been formed, that happens. So there was this phrase. Don't ask me to say it in Latin. I can't remember how to do it, but it was all for Rome.
Say it in Latin.
It was all for Rome, and it was early in when Rome was just a kingdom, not an empire yet. It was about sacrificing the individual for the greater good. And then we had, look at our own country. We have sacrificed the lives of every single minority that crossed our shores to build what we have today. And this is just human nature boiled down to 30 people.
Yep.
it was going to happen.
Paradise does not exist.
No.
Make it your own.
Yeah. I think the lesson of this movie is don't give Tilda Swinton a gun.
Yeah.
And losing your humanity might not be worth finding paradise.
Mr. Steel girl.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're getting that good. So,
Nope. Spot on.
I don't
man.
know.
I like the movie. You want to rock it?
yeah. So let's dive into our taco ratings. You all know the drill: 0 to 100 tacos, 100 being the best. Grego, how do you rate The Beach?
I rate the beach decently, better than you guys, for sure. For the aforementioned reasons, I like the way it moves, sort of. Like I said, it's kind of a throwback for me. Shot well, love the beach settings and stuff. So I'm gonna give this movie a 69. A 69.
Alrighty, Shasti, what do you rate?
I would like 50 tacos.
50?
Like 45.
Okay,
45 to 50.
Something like that.
that's fair.
When we came out, when I was in 8th grade,
Right.
and it was an island with a bunch of weed on it.
Yeah.
And that's all I saw until watching it now. And I'd say it gets about 45 joints, tacos, whatever your currency is.
Rice.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be closer to Greg's rating. Surprisingly, I give this an odd 65. There are definitely some redeeming factors to the project, but not enough for me to give it a passing grade. However, let's take a look at what Rotten Tomatoes had to say. Am I seeing that right? Okay. So this is a critic score of 20 and an audience score of 57.
It's funny.
That's-
Can I add? When I was doing some research and stuff for this, there was I forgot the website, but there was a article that said Rotten Tomatoes got this one wrong.
No, they didn't.
It's
Not
a classic Leo film. There's lots of redeeming factors. Well, they went through the whole
It's
thing.
Instagram Island is what
It's
it is.
Instagram,
It's Coachella
yes.
where they got
Oh,
the
Yes.
perfect.
yurts.
There you go.
It's too hot to handle.
None of those supermodels were outdoorsy fucking people that could swim 1.3 fucking kilometers.
Hey man, they got a good diet going on over there. You know,
It's all fish and berries.
3 out of 10 of them got eaten by a shark.
fish berries,
That's a high percentage.
and whoever your partner is.
Yeah. All right. Before this movie ruins my life any further, Greg, at least this movie made me feel warm. Not fuzzy, just warm. So
The drink was really good.
yeah,
the mushrooms.
Yeah, it was the mushrooms. It was the caterpillars. Yeah, I'm very proud of this drink.
it's
So,
good.
folks, hop down to the comments, give us your rating for the movie, and so we've started putting the recipe for the drinks up when we make them. So stir one of these up, shake one up, and give us the rating of the drink as well. I like to have my ego stroked, so let me know what you think. No, I think that's everything, guys.
I did.
I gotta say goodbye.
Geez, maybe we can hear your very different and I'm sure very interesting story some other time, huh?